Welcome to the Catholic Table Talk podcast. This is where everything Catholic is on the table. New episodes Thursdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on most podcast platforms. Here's your host, William Sauber.
These 2 days are like the most attended masses or services there is in the Catholic Church. I'm talking about Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. And yet, they are not holy days of obligation. Now, why is that? Why do people think that they are? And should they be holy days of obligation? So, welcome back to the short one. This is kind of just like a makeshift show. Actually, just because I was going to do the show on why are Holy Week Mass is mandatory, but then I remembered, hey, I did a show on that last year, so go back and rewatch that show. Why are Holy Week Mass is mandatory? A big description there, so go back and rewatch that. But in this kind of short episode, I want to talk about, should the Holy Week Masses be mandatory? I mean, why aren't they, but shouldn't they be? Kind of reinforce that and really talk about, why should we still go if they're not even mandatory, right? Because technically, you could say, well, basically, they're just like a weekday mass. Weekday masses aren't mandatory, so why do I have to go to them? I don't really. I know you have to, let, right? You got those are the 2 days of fasting, right? That the church gives us. That's the only 2 days. And actually, fasting in the modern church is not that much, right? You got one regular meal plus 2 lesser meals. So basically, you're still having a pretty dang good meal, right? Now, if you're like me, I kind of fast from the supper to supper, so I fast from the night before I have supper, and then don't have supper again until, like say, Ash Wednesday, Ash Wednesday night, which, again, I have a pretty good regular size helping, right? I do. Maybe it's a little less, but still, that's what I have. But going back to the original question, should they be mandatory? And basically, in the past little bit, I've talked to a lot of people at the parish, about why, these numbers, like I said. Good Friday and Ash Wednesday are the most attended Mass service there is in the whole year, during the whole year. But they're not holy days of obligation. They're not like All Saints' Day and the Solemnity of Mary, the Assumption of Mary, Christmas, right? Easter? Easter is on a Sunday, but Christmas, and there's less. You think of how many people go to Christmas, but yeah. So again, that's what we're going to talk about here briefly. So. But before we get to that, also, thank you for Dr. George for sponsoring today's episode. Find more at drgeorge.com on holistic health and healing. drgeorge.com, today's sponsor once again. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Find us at catholictabletalk.com. Also, email us at catholictt@gmail.com. So, again, leave us a review and share it with your friends and family. And again, this episode comes out a day after Ash Wednesday in 2025. So thank you. Hopefully you'll let us off to a great start. I know the first 2 days are the first 3 or 4 is usually kind of tough. But then after that, you kind of get in the head of the steam and kind of get warm. And it's okay to change too. But again, we're talking about, why shouldn't, say I'm going back to what I was starting about last year. Should Holy Week Masses be holy days? Because it's Holy Week, right? Why do we call it Holy Week if we're not really obligated. So, again, basically, my personal opinion, I think they should be, because they are, the top two most attended masses or services on Good Friday, right? It's a service on Good Friday, of the year, I should say, is the most attended. That's beats out those other holy days of obligation, which is sad. But I think in terms of the effect too, that I think maybe some Christian or Catholics maybe don't put the saints high above like they should, So maybe, it's maybe they just don't go. I mean, again, that's not that's very bad, but maybe that could be, and maybe those days, again, you're working, you're going well and busy. Again, not like an excuse to miss a holy day of obligation, but that might what happen instead of, again, Ash Wednesday is the most holiest time of the year, it's the biggest fast of the year, it's the biggest, just focusing on God, seizing in the whole church year, right, in the liturgical year. And of course, Good Friday. I mean, Protestants, Catholics, we all disagree on stuff. Like, we're all kind of broken. We all disagree on stuff. But there's one thing that we don't disagree on, is that Jesus Christ died on the cross for our sins. So, again, Good Friday is a huge, huge day. So, to me, again, they should be holy days of obligation. Because it's like, if they're the top two, that, I mean, even if they were holy days of obligation, they would still be out the other ones. So, to me, they should be, right? Now, I don't think Pope's going to do that, at least maybe anytime soon. But it's kind of hard to, you're not going to take one of those other holy days away, probably, right? So, but again, it's like, it's Holy Week, it's the holiest time of the year, the Holy Triduum. I mean, why not? And of course, again, people think, why should I go? I don't really have to go. It's not mandatory. But if you're a practicing Catholic and a, loving Catholic, and you want to thank God for what He did for you on the cross, then go. I mean, a lot of people have off on Good Friday because of the Easter weekend. And you can have Easter without a Good Friday, right? You can have Easter in your life without a Good Friday. That's why we fast before the feast. I know on Fat Tuesday we feast before the fast, and then on Ash Wednesday and beyond we fast before the feast. And, you say what you want about, I mean, are Sundays excluded from Lent? Yes, they technically are, right? Some people take off. I kind of relax a couple of my gives up on Sundays or even Saturday nights after you go to church because it's technically Sunday. But again, that's a different discussion. So again, all in all, it's me personally, my most personal opinion, which is my show, so I can kind of throw this out there. I think there should be. I just don't see the Pope, whether if that's Pope Francis or a new Pope here very soon, if he would do that. I highly probably doubt it, but that's something maybe more in the future. So, I mean, again, Holy Week Masses are not mandatory, but many Catholics attend. Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter. The rituals are not holy days of obligation. But many, like I was talking to someone today too, like, my kids, they grew up and they're like, wait a minute, they're not holy days of obligation, but we always wit. It's like, yeah, because if you love Jesus, if you love God, you love the faith, you really want to be a follower, a disciple of Christ, and you really want to be close to God, you go, right? It's not really it's not like second thought. Some of us maybe, but that's not where we should be. Me personally, yeah, I think Ash Wednesday might be a little hard to go, but then it's like, well, it's, you're not eating probably during a lunch break anyway if there's one at noon, and if you can get up and go before work, awesome, right? Or you go after work with the family, awesome. And plus, like I said, Good Friday, you're off pretty much anyway. So, you might as well take advantage of it. So I am going to share a couple quick leaks right here. A Catholic Guide to Holy Week 2025 by Dominic Catholics, I'm sorry. Holy Week is the most important week in Catholicism, the week of great reverence and reflection spans in the final 8 days of Jesus' life, from Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday. It is astounding how much wisdom, insight, and inspiration are available to us during this 1 week. Here is just a sample of what happens during Holy Week. Palm Sunday, Jesus triumphantly enters Jerusalem. Monday of Holy Week, Jesus clears out the temple with a whip. Tuesday of Holy Week, Jesus is anointed with oil at Bethany and preaches on the Mount of Olives. Spy Wednesday, Jesus is betrayed by Jesus. Holy Thursday, Jesus celebrates the Last Supper, prays in the Garden of Gethsemane, and is arrested. Good Friday, Jesus is sentenced to death, scourged, beaten, crucified, and dies on the cross. Holy Saturday, Jesus is buried in the tomb and descends into hell, or down to the dead, where they're awaiting their Savior. They're awaiting him. Easter Sunday, Jesus rises from the dead. We are all trying to make sense of life. One way for us to understand our lives is to look at them through the great experiences that happen during Holy Week. Just try this exercise at the end of every day. Ask yourself, what sort of day did I have today? Did I have an Ash Wednesday? Or did I have an Easter Sunday? Did I have a Good Friday? Or did I have a Holy Saturday? What defines those sorts of days? Good Friday is an easy one. It's a day of suffering and sacrifice. There are some days you get to the end of and you feel like that's the kind of day you had. What's Holy Saturday? It's the day of darkness, doubt, anxiety, confusion, and a day where faith is tested. What's Easter Sunday? It's a day of new life. Maybe there's a birth of a child in the family, and we see it as a miracle or a gift from God. We are all trying to make sense of our lives, and God is constantly trying to help us make sense of them. These great moments in the life of the Church and the life of Jesus provide powerful lenses through which we can see our lives in a new way, expanding our understanding of ourselves and others. Keep reading for more information about each day of Holy Week and simple yet powerful ways to engage with each moment along the way. So again, Holy Week this year of 2025, Palm Sunday is April 13th, Easter, and then it starts on April 13th, Palm Sunday, and ends on Easter Sunday, April 20th. So again, should they be obligated holy days are obligation? Yes, and I think most of you would agree with me, at least most of my frequent audience would agree with me, right? But there are still some skeptics might be like, yeah, I don't know, I'm okay with it not. But again, they are the two biggest days for attendance in the Catholic Church, which is kind of mind-blowing, right? So again, if you're not on board with that, I mean, it's something powerful that, Ash Wednesday, the start of that, and Good Friday, pretty much, let's away technically over by then, it's the Holy Trinity, are the two biggest days. So there's something powerful, something big happening during this time. And again, like people who go to daily mass, they're probably like, man, I don't think about it twice, I just go, right? And I'm the same way when I can go, I feel like, yeah, absolutely. When there's nothing else going on during that time, I'm like, let's go. I mean, you have to allow scheduling, right? Because of work, at least my line of work. But if you can go, great. And that's the mindset we should have. Especially, like I said, especially during this time of fast, and prayer, and almsgiving. So, again, that's just, because again, what to me, really, at the end of the day, too, to kind of wrap up the show, is this, like, I mean, what are they gonna lose, right? So here's a quick holy days of obligation. These are for 2025, but these are pretty much every year. Of course, January 4th is Cemetery of Mary. May 29th is Section of Jesus, which is basically, Thursday, or sometimes they go to Sunday. Reception of Blessed Virgin Mary in August. November 4th, Our Saints. December 8th, the Immaculate Conception of Mary. And December 25th, Christmas. So basically there is only 2, 4, 6 holy days of obligation, and the section is kind of really mostly goes to the Sunday in some of the dioceses. So basically, you're looking at 5 to 6 holy days. So you add 2 more, at the most you have 8. I mean, that's 8 days of the year, which again, that's where Heaven and Earth kisses the Mass. So anyway, if you don't feel like going to Ash Wednesday and changing the way your life and becoming a better person, I mean, okay. And you don't feel like going to Good Friday because you just feel like there's other stuff to do, and it's just, or work or something, you just kind of want to do other stuff, and don't want to go spend time reflecting on Christ's, although His passion. You do you, okay? I mean, I really suggest not doing that. So, again, should they? Yes, they should. And I think we should have a movement to make them, again, what is going to do. So, anyway, hopefully you make it to Ash Wednesday, and hopefully you'll make it to Good Friday, and a lot more masses here during the Lent in season. So, again, thanks for coming on board with us, and again, make sure you get to all the masses during Holy Week this year. Again, even if you're not obligated, even if you haven't realized before that they're not obligated, even if you're chewing or at you like, we're not obligated, Dad or Mom, why do we have to go? So it's a great way to experience the Mass and experience and meditate on Christ's passion, death, and resurrection in a different way than we do the rest of the year. So it's kind of like Christmas. You think, yep, Jesus was born, came in the world to save us, blah, blah. But when that season comes, it has a different meaning. So, anyway, hopefully it makes sense. Let me know down in the comments below with your questions, comments, and, should they be or shouldn't they? So, again, my personal opinion on my own show. So, take it or leave it. But, we'll see you next time. Stay in state of grace, go to the sacraments, and, we'll see you next time on the show.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Catholic Table Talk podcast, where everything Catholic is on the table. Don't forget to subscribe to Catholic Table Talk on your favorite podcast platform to get new episodes delivered directly to you every Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern.